Morning everyone, and welcome back to the Runpreneur vlog, where we discuss all things entrepreneurship and running. And it's a pretty grotty day today. There's a car going past me. It's freezing conditions. Thank you. Just been splashed by water. It's chucking it down as well in a kind of a fine misty rain, so refreshing would be an understatement. But it is Thursday Tales today, where we talk about past experiences in business, and today's topic is all about avoiding an over-reliance on lumpy money. So if you like this video, please remember to subscribe to this channel and give it a like. Just let a car come past me first. Oh, he's going. Sorry for the shoddy start. So what do we mean by avoiding an over-reliance on lumpy money? Well, this is a mistake I've made in the past, whereby you feel you've kind of unearthed an opportunity to make a relatively large sum of money, or several chunks of a significant amount of money. A couple of examples would be if you're doing a development project and you're projecting your kind of future on a big return for when you sell that asset once you've developed it. Could be a prime example. Or another example is my property sourcing business. It kind of generates pretty chunky cash. I mean, every sale is a $5,000 sale, and we quite often do 2, sometimes more sales a week. So it's pretty chunky cash coming in. And although it's like, well, why wouldn't you rely on that? Especially if you've got a development that's going to bring you in a couple of $100,000, or you've got, this sourcing business, it's producing, relatively sizable chunks in quite a high frequency, then focus on that more. But I've made this mistake in the past, and it's nearly wiped me out. And I'll tell you the solutions to this in just a second. But the experience I want to tell you about is when I did a development of converting a block of flats from a disused nightclub. So the car coming past hopefully doesn't splash me. From a disused nightclub into a block of 9 high-spec apartments. And in actual fact, this development has proven to be the bane of my life for so many a year. It was the catalyst which kind of broke up my first business partnership in my property business that I'd formed and built over kind of 10 years. And there was just the way that the development was managed, the way it was handled, it just the liability, the risk we had attached to it, and perhaps definitely underestimated, got us into a serious amount of trouble in terms of financially. So much so, it nearly wiped me out completely. But I think where I went considerably wrong here is that you look at the figures on a big development like this. I mean, there's about 300k profit at the back end of this, and split between myself and the business partner, 150k each. So it isn't kind of chump change by any stretch. It was a significant amount of money, and you look at a lot of people. I think the average salary across the UK is about kind of 25 grand, something like that. I haven't done the latest research on it, but it used to be around that figure. And you've got something there which is 6 times what you potentially get in a year that you could get in a lump sum, and should have been turned around in about 6 months. And when you kind of get caught in the kind of the headlights there, thinking of those big numbers, it's very easy to kind of neglect other aspects of your business, and you just seem to be fixated on this goal of making that kind of projection into a reality. And lo and behold, all the different contracting issues, the project management issues, the skimming of the development funds issues that I had, all these types of things that were going wrong meant that this, bear in mind it was on bridging finance whilst we were doing the development, it should have been in and out in less than 6 months. We ended up getting out of that bridging agreement 18 months on, because we couldn't get it refinanced because the work hadn't been completed. So the development took an extra year than it should have done, paying some obscene rate. I think it was about 18% a year on bridging finance, and as a result that whole profit just got eaten away, and it actually went into negative equity, and which is a scary position when it's a big asset and there's a lot of overhead attached to it. And what then happened is our neglection of the bread and butter. You know, we tried to offload stuff, and we, you know, in terms of our rental business, property business, this is where we got sucked into a rent guarantee product, which turned to be an absolute nightmare. And because we took our eye off the ball in that and just relying on this rent guarantee insurance, kind of ensuring we stayed afloat in that side of the business, we all of a sudden the 150k just disintegrated, and the property business that had always paid us a nice sum of money every month was now loss making, because the rent guarantee company who were taking ownership of money coming in were not doing it correctly. Morning. So, cut a long story short, it's almost like the rabbit and the hare analogy. Sorry, not the rabbit and the hare, the tortoise and the hare analogy, where you're sprinting to get that massive sum as quickly as you can, but the slow and steady guy wins the race. And had we have continued to maintain control of the property business and kept ticking over, okay, it was a lot of work and overhead that went into that property business, but it paid handsomely every month. I think at the time we were only kind of between 8 and 9 grand a month out of that property business, both myself and my business partner. And then just to go, right, we'll leave that all to a rent guarantee company. We were taking in slightly less, but it was guaranteed. When the guarantee failed and we got handed the control of the money coming in, and 45% of the properties were actually paying, and you were hemorrhaging at like 6.5 grand a month loss, and you've lost this ability to kind of grasp this 150 grand windfall that you were so focused on. All of a sudden things look very, very bleak, and you're then in absolute survival mode. And yeah, I mean, it was a horrendous experience. So what have I learned from that is chunky money is great, or lumpy money, whatever you call it, if it comes off. Now, the property sourcing business is a little bit different because it's smaller lumps and more frequent lumps, but it's still quite lumpy. And the difference is on it as well, it's not a fixed or recurring income. Every one of these 5 grand fees we're getting, we're having to sell, source, we're doing all the work independently for each deal. Now I'm trying to change it into a bit more of a recurring income-based model, because I'm negotiating with some big investors at the moment who are looking to commit to stock. They commit to stock and a kind of a structured release of monies, then we can potentially turn that chunky business, chunky, lumpy, you know, sporadic income-based business into a more predictable, fixed and recurring basis, which would be amazing, and we get the best of both worlds. So I'm kind of working on that hard, but don't underestimate the importance of fixed recurring income. It's so much easier to predict. It's if you keep control of it, it might fluctuate, but very little. You know, if you've got subscriptions or rental income, yeah, you get voids, yeah, you get maintenance and side of things, but the fixed income keeps coming in, and okay, it might drop by 1 or 2%, then it might increase by 1 or 2%, but the movements are so minimal that it's very easy to project, forecast and budget on. Whereas if you're going on, oh yeah, we might do 5 deals next month, right, yeah, we're going to get 25 grand coming in next month, let's just use this as an example, and then something goes wrong, we don't get that money in, and if you've got overhead attached to that business and you're expecting 25 grand to come in and nothing comes in, then all of a sudden you're in a serious loss-making position. So if I look at my portfolio of businesses, and there's 6 of them, we've got property and prime investments, lumpy, chunky money that I'm trying to convert into more fixed and recurring at the moment with the big investors with sizable commitments that we're hoping to kind of get over the line. We've got Property Empire Builder, which is a property education company. That's subscription, Fixed income, it's a small recurring amount every month, and okay, subscribers will drop off and new ones will join every month, but it should be relatively predictable. So yes, a really good one to have. The property business, you know, HMOs, 2 squared strategies predominantly, and single lets, all rental income, fixed monthly recurring income. Moves very little in terms of fluctuations and how much it goes up and how much it goes down. So again, pretty solid, pretty good to be able to forecast and project upon. Then we've got Runpreneur and the social media agency, which is about to be launched in the new year in a beta format. That again will be a subscription-based income, subscription and fixed monthly income. Again, very nice, easy to predict. It'll go up and down slightly, but it's nice and easy to forecast to, and we can attach some fixed overhead to that, knowing that money is going to be coming in every month, providing we have a successful launch. Then we've got Property Empire, construction and maintenance, lumpy money. Okay, so it's morning again. So the lumpy money in that business is based on the number of jobs we do, the number of refurbs we do in the sourcing business, but we're generally making kind of 2 to 3, sometimes 4,000 on each deal, but all the work and effort has to go into each one and making sure they're coming over the line. Arguably we could turn that into a fixed or recurring income if we get a consistent flow of deals coming through in the sourcing business. If that happens, that will provide a consistent income on a fixed and monthly basis for that business, but it's a reliant on someone else, so I would still categorise that as kind of lumpy cash, and that stuff you have to work for on an ad hoc basis to get it in. And the final business, which hasn't really started yet, is the Property Empire Holdings, where we're starting to build our own assets in the group, but again, that will all be rented out on long-term leases, fixed, monthly, recurring, predictable income. Doing all of those things, I like to operate on a kind of a 2/3 fixed recurring, 1/3 lumpy. If you have that kind of ratio, there's no science behind this is just my risk profile. Have 2/3 fixed recurring income and only 1/3 coming in from lumpy, ad hoc, sporadic income. I think you're in a good position. I think if you miss out on both of these types of income, I think you're missing out. I think the lumpy cash, it's like commission. It's like make hay while the sun shines. If you're not capitalising on that, then you're missing a trick. But I wouldn't project my financial future on lumpy, large sums of cash that may or may not come in. So that's my experience, my story there. You get this stuff wrong, and something like COVID happens, or recessions, big environmental factors can wipe you out. If you get this right, you can be recession proof, and that's what I feel. I'm more recession proof now than ever been. I don't feel I am recession proof, but I feel I'm far better positioned to deal with what might be around the corner, a lot better than I once was. So if I was going to summarise this episode, point 1 is the difference between lumpy money and fixed recurring income is lumpy is more sporadic. It's normally larger sums, but it comes in kind of infrequently, and it's harder to project. Whereas fixed recurring is usually smaller amounts. Sometimes it can be higher amounts, which is great, but usually smaller amounts, and they come in on a subscription or fixed recurring basis, and they fluctuate very little. So it's much easier to predict and project the strength of your business on that model. So that's the difference between those two. Number 2, don't over-rely on lumpy and chunky money, because there's so many variables and it's very volatile. You know, we've had, in the Property Empire investments business, we've had 50k months. We've also had months at 10k. If we had overhead attached to thinking we were a 50k a month business, then we'd have been in trouble at the 10 grand month. So don't get caught in the headlights when it comes to projecting based on lumpy money. If your business is all around lumpy money, forecast on worst case scenario. Number 3, I think the best ratio is to have 2/3 of your income from fixed recurring, 1/3 from lumpy chunky money. I think that's a really good ratio, and I think you're protected with the fixed and variable, the fixed and recurring, and you can cash in on the lumpy money without having too much overhead attached to it. I've done a separate episode on the importance of linking fixed income with fixed costs, and also variable income, which lumpy stuff is, with variable cost. And I think if you cost match as well, that's another exercise you can do to further increase the likelihood of being more recession proof. So, hope that's been useful. As always, any questions, drop me a comment. I'll respond to everyone. Bigger topic, I'll do a separate vlog episode, tag you in. If this is irrelevant for you and it's cluttering up your social feeds, just click the unfollow button. You don't have to unfriend me, but unfollow, and then you won't get cluttered up in your social feeds with the relevant information. Before you do go, make sure you subscribe to the Runpreneur YouTube channel, where all of these episodes are documented, full length version, nice and neatly by playlist, completely free resource, and hopefully there'll be something in for you to dab in and out of as a free resource at some point in the future. And also make sure you join the Facebook Runpreneur community group, whereby we'll be hosting all of our free resources attached to this vlog. So hopefully there'll be some stuff there that will help you on your journey at some point in the future. So all that's left to say is that the Runpreneur vlog was set up to help support entrepreneurs, business owners, overcome stress, anxiety, overwhelm by using exercise, or in my case running, as a mechanism to kind of control, manage and thrive under these emotions that every single entrepreneur and business owner experiences. It can often be the difference between success and failure is how well that entrepreneur manages these emotions. If you get them under control, you can thrive and go on to bigger, better things. If you don't get them under control, the pressure builds and builds and builds and builds, and then inevitably something breaks. It's usually either the entrepreneur or the business, which either or can often be terminal to the long-term success of your business. Now, I've been there. I've lost businesses because of this stuff. Most entrepreneurs are very proud people. They find it really difficult to talk about things. So I've been there, lost everything. Well, not lost everything, but nearly lost everything. And I know how bad it is. I feel I've now unearthed this mechanism to kind of control these emotions, keep them in check, and as a result I'm taking on more than I've ever taken on, and I feel I'm in complete control, which is an amazing, empowering feeling. So my pledge to you is, if you are an entrepreneur that's struggling with this stuff, drop me a message. There's absolutely no catch here, no obligation, no nothing, no sale, no nothing. All I want to do is jump on a call with you, and I'll try and give you some actionable steps to get back on the pathway to success. So don't be stubborn, reach out. I've had people do it already, and hopefully I've made a difference to their lives. And I always said that if this vlog just saved one entrepreneur or one business, it would 1,000,000% be worthwhile. So on that note, remember, if you like this video, please subscribe to this channel, and if you want to check out any more playlists, click the playlist link and have a browse. And all that's left to say is stay positive, stay happy, and I'll see you tomorrow.